Welcome back to Crocktober, you guys. Forgive the light, please. I'm having to do a different spot in the morning sun because I have canning projects going on either side of my kitchen. So I'm putting my crock pot in a different spot than normal, and the light in the morning is a little bit blinding right here, and I was able to close one blind, but not both. I am making Korean BBQ burritos tonight for dinner, and I'm starting with the crock pot. I have this, it's grass-fed beef from Butcher Box, boneless beef cap. Never really seen that on anything else, and I'm just kind of using it like a roast. Looks what it looks like. So I'm just gonna get that in there. This one is, it doesn't say how many pounds it is. I would say it's like 2 pounds. Getting that in my crock pot. Let me get rid of this real quick. All right, so I pulled out all my ingredients ahead of time this time. We'll see how well I did remembering things. I have half a cup of beef broth. I just made this with that beef broth powder stuff, like bouillon, just not in a cube. I didn't want to open a jar of home canned broth for half a cup because I'm not planning on using any more of that this week. So I have that. I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I will put a link to a printable recipe in the description box. 1/4 cup, and as always, you pack brown sugar unless it says otherwise. About a 1/4 cup of soy sauce as well. Let's use my You could use coconut aminos or tamari if you have those on hand instead, or if you're trying to do gluten-free. I'm going to do, let's see, I wrote down what I think I normally do. Tablespoon of garlic. Forgot my chopped garlic. So I could have used garlic powder. I've done that before too. Pretty soon I need to process the garlic from my garden. If you were with me this summer when I pulled it, there was a garlic mishap with my neighbor's chickens, and so I didn't get the amount I was planning on getting of garlic. So I'm gonna be using this for like my minced garlic all year. I'm using my other garlic that I harvested for like freeze dry to make garlic powder and to make some preserved garlic dishes, stuff like that. So garlic, some ginger. I'm using the powdered. You can use the fresh ginger root if you want. I'm gonna use about a teaspoon. I'll use 2. It's a pretty strong flavor in Asian dishes. If you were to use fresh grated ginger, I would do like 1.5 inches. That's like how I measure that kind of stuff. Sesame oil. Put about a tablespoon, do a 1.5 tablespoons. My lid's not going right. And then about a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, rice vinegar. I use this just to help tenderize it a little bit. Traditionally, I think they use pears to tenderize it, or kiwi is what people, kiwi and pineapple is what people will use now, but I'm pretty sure my friend from Korea growing up used pears in hers. That's all that goes in here. This is going to be a Korean barbecue burrito. So I will make a slaw later when this is ready, and I'll show you that and put that on the tortillas when I roll it up. This is gonna go on low for 8 hours. Some crock pots are different, so usually you learn after using how to alter that for your own. And I will see you later tonight when it's time to make dinner. I just opened this up to see if it was ready, and I stuck a fork in it and twisted to see how tender it was, and like the whole thing fell apart on me. So I put it on warm for a little while. This is so good, by the way. It tastes delicious. It is very tender and easy to flake. So it's gonna go great on our burritos. This sauce, if you wanna make it thick and put on your burrito, you could. This also goes really well on rice leftovers. Delicious sauce. This is one of those recipes where the flavor of the sauce actually permeates the meat, and it's just so good. Okay guys, this is ready and I'm gonna show you how I finish this off. So the meat goes in the crock pot. That is a true dump, turn it on and till it's done. And you can use that for a lot of stuff. It's really good, you can eat it plain. For the burrito, I like to do the, like a slaw, like an Asian slaw that goes with it. So earlier here I grated, I used my food processor to get some shredded carrots and cabbage. If you don't want to go so fine on your stuff, you could easily use a different setting on your grater. You could use a mandolin. You could go old school and use a knife and cutting board, be crazy like that. Then, so I'm putting some cabbage and some carrots in there. And then I'm gonna make the rest of it. Let's see, I'm gonna put some green onion. Have that here. I like to get rid of the tops. This is pretty much how I always slice green onion unless I have a knife out slicing other stuff, but all of this I have ready to go today, so I'm just using my trusty scissors. I have several pair of those in the kitchen, so that's one's in the dishwasher. I can still be using it. So in addition to that, I need some tongs. That way I can get this all mixed together. So in addition to the veggies here in the bowl, I am gonna need a knife because I'm gonna need to cut this lime. I'm going to add some lime juice. And I'm only doing a small amount, so I'm gonna do half a lime. This feels like a pretty juicy lime, but you know, go with what you feel like that day for what you have on hand, because sometimes when you buy a lime it's dry, sometimes it's really juicy like this one. Yeah, half a lime is plenty for this one. Okay, so next I'm going to add some other seasonings. I've got a little bit of brown sugar. I don't want to go too sweet on this because the meat also has a little bit of sweetness, but Korean barbecue is a little on the sweet side, so like a heaping tablespoon of the brown sugar. Guys, like I'm very high tech here. I write things down when my family gets me to remember to write down my recipes before I forget what I did with it. That's what it looks like. And then I'm gonna put a little bit more sesame oil, about a teaspoon. I think that's what's left in my bottle too. Okay, a tiny bit of salt. That's about half a teaspoon. And then I'm going to throw in some cilantro. This is already cut up and washed, leftover from tacos we had the other night. About 2 tablespoons, all I want to do with that. So I'm going to get this all mixed up so that it is all one thing. You could also mix the liquid parts and the sugar in a different bowl and then add it in, but I find that I guess it would dissolve the brown sugar better, but I like to save the amount of bowls I'm using. So next, let me go grab the crock pot. It is still hot. I'm a clean as you go person. It's hard for me to not do that. So here's what I'm gonna do. I cooked some jasmine rice in my Instant Pot. I'm gonna bring that over as well. And here's how I assemble my burritos. So I have a tortilla. I like to warm it up a bit. It makes it a little bit easier to fold over without tearing. A little bit of jasmine rice down the middle. I'm gonna get a little bit of this beef. It smells delicious. It's been driving me crazy in my house all day. Get a shredded bit up. Dripping off as much as I can of the liquid because it is, I don't want it to get soggy. You know what I mean? Okay. And then I'm gonna put some slaw on top. Go with as much or as little as you like. And then this is sriracha mayo. This is optional. It's just mayonnaise mixed with sriracha. I usually use about a third of like a ratio of 1/3 sriracha to a whole mayonnaise. So like if I do a cup of mayonnaise, 1/3 of a cup of sriracha. I like to put in the squeeze bottle, get over the top. In the interest of full disclosure, when I make this for my family, I also set apart like extra of this that's not mixed together, because not everyone in the family likes cabbage, slaw, what have you. They're lame that way. And that way people can kind of build their own burritos. Wrap this up, ends and the inside. And then you have this delicious Korean barbecue is so good, y'all. Asian cooking has such a great flavor profile. It always has a little salty, a little sweet, a little richness. I'm gonna be a pig right now. It's so good. Inside my burrito. You should give this one a try.